What's
Okay.
going on, all you Boston boneheads out there? Your two favorite Chicago uncles are back tonight, and we're talking about a big score at the Stash House in Boston. We're actually talking about the new Netflix film starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. It hit Netflix a couple of weekends ago. It's a big blockbuster movie. Didn't go to theaters. It went straight to streaming, and it's been number one this whole time. Of course, starring the powerhouse duo Damon and Uncle Ben Affleck. They've worked together many times before. This movie brings them back together. It's been a few years since they worked together, but it brings them back in this crime drama directed by Joe Carnahan. We're talking about The Rip.
You should just take whatever money you want and walk away before this goes really bad for all of us.
That's right. Those two Boston boys are back at it. Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, like these two wild best friends over here that have known each other for many decades, back on the big screen together. Joe Carnahan directing, writing this flick, of course, from Narc, wrote Smoking Aces, a bunch of great flicks. Returning in this, kind of crime drama, as you were saying, uh, having to do with Miami cops, bunch of money they find, stash houses, and all the crime and stuff that goes on with that.
An all-star cast here, not just Affleck and Damon, but you have Kyle Chandler, you have Teyana Taylor coming off of her big starring role on, their PTA flick. And then you have Steven Yeun from Walking Dead, Sasha Calle, she played Supergirl a couple of years ago. Scott Adkins is in this. So a stacked cast here, and all having to do with this stash house that they find millions and millions of dollars in. And, usually when cops go in and they bust a place that has that much money, they all have to stay there and count it together. That way everything's accounted for. There's no kind of shady business. They're kind of their MO. At least this is what I was listening to when Affleck and Damon were talking about it on the podcast. They were talking about, doing the research into this movie. Well, basically, you have to count all that money while you're there. That make sure that nobody's stealing any. Obviously, everything has to be carefully counted and collected, and that's what you see in this movie too, with this duo working together here, playing these detectives that come on this, obviously a big drug house that they find all this money in. And, they're all there trying to figure out what to do with it. And they kind of have to figure it out. And it kind of plays off the paranoia of that, because you have all these detectives here and, everybody is kind of acting shady. Like, what should we do with this? They kind of find it in a wall and barrels. What if somebody took, 50 grand? Would anybody really notice? So it's really playing with all these, thoughts in these detectives' head. And the way it's presented to us, we don't really know like what's going to happen. You have a threat like from an outside gang coming in and like shooting up the place, but you also have these like suspicious conversations between the detectives themselves that make you think that like one of them knows about this money and they're planning to like take it for their own. So that's really how the setup of this movie goes.
But yeah, it makes you think, in that situation, even though you're on the side of the law, that much money, maybe you take a few 100,000. What could you do with that money? Could you go on a nice vacation? So it makes you think as humans and really kind of dives into that and making the right decision or just kind of doing what's best for your family. So it
Yeah.
was pretty interesting. But yeah, Matt Damon playing Lieutenant Dane and then Affleck playing Detective Sergeant J.D. Byrne. I thought they were pretty good in this movie. I mean, I wasn't blown away by their performances in any way, but I thought they were pretty good together. I like the supporting cast probably more than these two, but Stevie Yeun was fantastic. Kyle Chandler stand out for me as always. Love that guy. Anything he does, and I liked his character in this playing the DEA agent. But yeah, in terms of some of the action and shootouts and things like that, that was really well done. I thought it was convincing and times in kind of this crime world and everything they're dealing with in Miami was believable.
Yeah, we forgot to mention in the beginning there's the captain that Affleck's character knows gets killed in the beginning, and she sent out a text message to Matt Damon's character and kind of gives him information on this big drop that happened with all this money in there. So they go to investigate, and the story kind of goes from there. So there's a backstory involving that, and there's relationships in here that you're um, diving into between all these detectives and figuring out, things about their past too. There's a lot at play here. This is more of a slow burn than an all-out action film. It takes a long time to set up. It builds on the paranoia that's set up here and the suspicions. But at the end, of course, there's like the big explosive like shootout and finale with the car chase and everything. So you do get some of that too at the end, and that's Joe Carnahan's known for his action scenes, and you do get some of that. But this is really more of a character study here too, and seeing Affleck and Damon on screen together again. You didn't like them as much as I did in this film. I always like them together. Think they work great. They play off each other. Matt Damon here, he does a really good job, hiding his motivations too. He has some inside information that not everybody's privy to, and he kind of, does some clever things to kind of figure out what's going on here. And you learn about that at the end of the film. Takes place over a couple hours here in the film, and not everything's answered right away. Like I said, it's a slow burn. The answers come slow, but then by the third act, you figure out what's really going on. And you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. You kind of forget about some other things that were happening, and everything ties together pretty well by the end. So, is there anything new here? No. Like we were talking about earlier, we've seen this film before. This one, the only thing it really has going for it that separates it is the star power here. Affleck and Damon, obviously, Kyle Chandler, Teyana Taylor. But I had a good time with this film. It didn't blow me away or anything, but for a Netflix movie coming straight, this is one of the better Netflix movies that you'll see, that goes straight to Netflix and skips the theaters. Had all the star power it needed, was interesting enough, and I like the twists and turns along the way, and then I like the big finale. So for me, I'm going to give Netflix's The Rip. I'm going to give it a 3.5 out of 5. Ben Affleck, Boston Dunkin hair pieces. Whoosh.
Yeah, like you were saying, this is nothing, groundbreaking. This is nothing new. This is, same kind of story we've seen in plenty of other movies here. I will say, Affleck and Damon were good in these roles. I don't think they blew me away or anything. I think, a lot of the problem with this, it was a bit slow, and some of the writing, some parts throughout the movie just kind of paying attention. I was losing interest. So
Yeah.
some downfalls for me, but yeah, supporting cast in this, like everybody said, was really great. I loved them. Just Damon and Affleck and some parts were like, meh, kind of questionable. So yeah, it was a okay movie. I don't think it blew me away. Didn't love it, didn't hate it, just thought it was okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna give The Rip. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. Ben Affleck, Boston Harbor hair pieces.
Ooh.
So I want to hear from all you wild Boston enthusiasts out there. What did you like about The Rip? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, check out these wild uncles on Facebook, X, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news, and reviews.
Reviews. That's right. We're having a great time reviewing a lot of TV and movies for you guys, and we will be back shortly after a little trip. We're going to take a trip where we're getting together here and having some fun, letting loose for a week or two, and then we'll be back towards the end of the month, and we'll catch up on some of the other movies and TV shows that we missed there in that week's time. But we'll be back soon enough for more Cinefellas reviews. And until next time, I'm Uncle Henry Affleck.
And I'm Uncle Logan Damon, signing out to the next review. Cheese!
Cheese!